The podcast has gone to the dark side. What do we do?
You just have to keep running. It's pretty much indestructible.
Welcome back to that Groovy Scoobcast.
Your go-to audio hub for all things Scooby-Doo.
My name's Derek.
And I'm Shannon.
And today we are going to be talking about the episode Party Arty from Shaggy and Scooby-Doo, Get a Clue. Shannon, what were your thoughts on the episode today?
I liked it.
Yeah?
Yeah. This series is growing on me.
I'm glad it is. Like, I know that when we first were watching it, you weren't really a fan. I know you're still not a fan of Robi.
He annoys me.
I love Robi. Robi's great.
I think I would like him more if he wasn't so stupid.
I think that's what I like about him.
It's like, I know it's a kid's show, so I can't get like mad about it, but it's just like...
When has that stopped us before?
I know.
Before we delve into our discussion of Party Arty, though, we will be kicking off our Mystery Machine match, our weekly Scooby-Doo trivia competition, where Shannon and I try to figure out which one of us knows Scooby-Doo better than the other. Currently, our points are sitting with me at 19 and Shannon at 17. Looking over your questions, how do you feel about the Mystery Machine match this week, Shannon?
I feel pretty good. 2 of your questions are hard, I think. I'm hoping. And the other one, I think, is going to be either a hit or miss, or you'll know it straight away.
Gotcha. As you know, I never reread these questions before we start recording, so I don't know what you're in for.
I always hope that I, know things.
Get the advantage or something.
I hope that after this long of us being friends, I've picked up something.
Well, let's put that to the test. As always, Shannon, you get to ask the first question today.
What Middle Eastern country is the site of the sand sail race in Scooby-Doo All-Star Laugh Olympics?
I don't have an answer.
Do you want me to give you 3 guesses or whatever?
I'm just gonna give that up. No,
okay.
I don't have an answer for you. What's the answer?
Israel.
Okay.
I told you these are hard.
Wouldn't have guessed that. Oh, my question is actually about the Laugh Olympics as well. In Scooby's All-Star Laugh Olympics, the teams had to race to the top of what famous London landmark?
Big Ben.
Okay, you love London. Yeah, Big Ben. I was about to say, London's your thing.
My thing.
It is kind of your thing. You needed to know that. Okay, what's your next question for me?
Sugar Ray, the band who appeared in the Scooby-Doo movie, is also known for what song? Fly or Boombastic?
I'm not really even familiar with their music, to be honest. Is it Boombastic?
No.
Fly. Damn. I'm not doing good today.
I told you they were hard because they're ones that they're not ones we would know. We don't know much about the Laugh Olympics because we don't really watch those ones. True.
Okay, here's your next question. What name did Joseph Barbera go by when writing the different theme songs to Scooby-Doo? Joseph Rowland or Denby Williams?
I don't know.
I don't know the answer either. I can't even give you a hint.
Give me the names one more time.
Joseph Rowland or Denby Williams?
The first one. Roland?
You are correct.
Oh!
Good guess. Although it doesn't really seem like a real creative alias
no,
if you're
that's
using
why
your
I was
same first name.
It's
like me saying, I'm going to go by Derek Smith.
Derek King.
Right. Ooh.
I don't know who he is.
Right. What's your last question for me?
In a creepy heap from the deep, Shaggy and Scooby-Doo hide in what nautical vessel? A submarine or a battleship?
They hid in a submarine.
Yes.
We watched that episode, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. That's one more point for me. And here is your last question. What is the name of the mysterious Swami the gang meets in What the Hex is Going On? Rasputin or Svengali?
Rasputin?
It was Svengali. Although, to be fair, I don't really think that name was ever said, in episode. I thought her name was Carlotta. No, that's a different episode. Carlotta is from Gaggle Galloping Ghost. I'm getting my episodes mixed up. That might be correct. Yeah, Svengali. Sorry.
Okay.
Well, then it looks like today I picked up 1 point. You picked up 2. Bring our totals to me with 20 and you with 19. You are catching up. Last couple episodes you've been catching up.
I told you I was getting there.
You're on your way. Well, that concludes this week's Mystery Machine match. You ready to start talking about Party Arty?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here is the premise for the episode coming from Scoobypedia. Shaggy and Scooby decide to throw a housewarming party, but their neighbor, who's president of the housing association, Thurston Havensimp, sets out to derail their plans. Correction, he's the acting president. I don't know where the actual president is, but he's not my president.
Hashtag not my president.
Right. So, like the premise just said, Shaggy and Scooby, they're planning a housewarming party. They're kind of walking around their backyard and pool area, and they're trying to, figure out all the things that they're going to need for the party.
They start out by, saying what they're going to do. Mm-hmm. And so they go, they have concert quality sound system, and they turn it on, and it busts out Thurston's window. I'm just going to call him Mr. H.
Yeah, okay. That's what Shaggy and Scooby ended up having to do, too, because they can't get their names right.
But so it busts out Mr. H's window. And then they go over and they say, okay, the turbo-powered Steak Scorcher 2000. And they turn that on, and he's got
it's
three or
guys.
four. Yeah, it's a grow. And he's got 3 or 4 palm trees lined up against his wall, and it sets one of them on fire.
Mr. H's.
Yeah. And then they say something about we're going to ride these bikes on this BMX track dirt, da-da-da-da-da. And they're like, yeah, once the dirt shows up. And then just as they say that, the dirt truck pulls into Mr. H's driveway and just dumps it in his pool.
With him
he
in
fell
it.
Yeah, he fell in the pool. And so, he died.
He could have straight up drowned underneath the weight of that dirt.
Now, I will say, because he got mad at them about all of that, I get the first two, but that last one wasn't really their fault.
But don't tell me he's not going to be mad about it.
Oh, no, I'd be pissed because now, you have to pay so much money to get all that dirt out of that pool.
Well, he was busy shoveling it later in the episode.
Yeah.
So, I'm surprised he didn't just hire somebody.
That costs so much money, though.
I mean, yeah, but considering that Shaggy and Scooby inherited, billions and they're living in that mansion and, Mr. H is, right next door to them, I'm sure he's got the money to pay somebody.
Don't assume, Derek.
Okay, I guess that is rude of me. I guess I shouldn't assume.
But no, yeah, I'd be mad. I don't know, I would sue the company. Be like, you can come clean this shit up.
Maybe, yeah, I guess that's true. Shaggy tells Scooby that he has... Oh, well, and to keep in mind, too, guys, Shaggy and Scooby are completely unaware of what they've done to Mr. H. They don't know anything that's going on his side of the yard.
As per usual, Scooby and Shaggy are just completely
oblivious
unaware.
Idiots. Yeah. So Shaggy tells Scooby that he's got Robi working on a chore list. And here I am thinking, why?
Why?
That is literally the opposite of what you should be having Robi do. You should be having Robi go sit in a corner and do nothing.
That's all Robi should ever do. He can't do anything.
Right. So here comes Robi. He bursts through the back steps leading down into the pool area. And he's like, nephew Shaggy, Ruby Roo. And I've completed your chore list. And I wrote down some of the things that he had apparently been asked to do. He must have just mixed them up in terms of what he was supposed to be doing. He informs them that he has successfully mowed the carpet, he scrubbed and buffed the lawn, and then he also ironed the TV, which he does acknowledge could have gone better. So they hear the doorbell. Shaggy asks Robi to go get it. Well, go get the door.
Yeah, he goes, Robi, go get the door. So Robi goes and gets a door. I don't know where that door was, but it was double.
I think it was one of the back doors.
Yeah, because he grabbed double
there,
glass pane windows. So I was like, okay. And then they go, Robi, the front door. And you see Shaggy immediately go why the fuck did I just say that?
Yeah, because he's going to do the exact same thing to your front door and just rip it off its hinges.
And so then he starts counting. He's 5, 4, 3, 2. And then Robi comes up and he goes, I got the front door with a man on it. And of course, it's Mr. H.
How can you not like Robi? It's so funny to me how much of an idiot of a robot he is.
He has funny lines, don't get me wrong. But, I get so frustrated. Imagine trying to live with him. I would just be so frustrated all the time. I'd be like, Robi, just go stand in a fucking corner and don't fucking move. Just stop. Just to stay there forever. I couldn't.
Right. So this is where we're meeting Mr. Thurston Havensimp formally for the first time. Mr. H, he informs them that he is the acting president of the HOA and that he is looking around and he's like, you don't have permits or you're not up to code with anything that you're doing to your house. Right. And here's Shaggy and Scooby. They're surprised by this, but they're also being dumb because they hear president and now they think that the United States president is there.
I don't know if they thought maybe.
Do you think maybe they're just fucking with him?
Okay, a little bit I did because
Because Shaggy asks Robi to take a picture of them.
Because he goes, take a picture of us with the president, and then specifically says he's going to put the picture behind his bowling trophy. And that right there in my head, I was like, he's fucking with them.
But I also like to think that Shaggy is a good bowler.
I mean, yeah, but if you have a picture of you and the president,
and you're just gonna hide it behind
a bowling trophy? Like, come on now.
Right. Mr. H, he falls in the pool. I think he got knocked in the pool by a Robi, and he's super pissed about it. He comes out of the pool and he's like, you're not gonna have a party today until you get all of these violations and citations sorted out.
He puts such a giant stack
of like regular papers, which presumably are soaked because he just got out of the pool. But anyway, puts them in Shaggy's hands. And then something that I've noticed every time I've watched it, and I don't get why, but like a little gag that they did was they put like a little tiny piece of paper on the stack.
Mm-hmm.
Like he gives him the big stack and then hands him one more tiny slip of paper. And I'm like, why?
I assume that one is the 613.
Okay, so 613, guys. This is the citation that Mr. H explicitly tells them is for Robi.
No, because he throws that one at him as he's walking out.
Does he? I don't remember that. I don't think.
Yeah, because it flies down and then lands on and then he grabs it.
I didn't write that down. Anyway. Yeah, he informs them, though, that the 613 citation is for a device or an appliance that is a clear and present danger to the community, i.e. Robi. So after he leaves, Shaggy and Scooby are just kind of like talking to each other. It's like, we can't get kicked out of the house. Like, Uncle Albert's lab, the Scooby snack formula, all of it's beneath the lab. Like, we can't afford to lose the house. So we got to get this shit fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Scooby is more so concerned on the side about his Scooby-Doo fountain, his statue of a fountain that he might lose in the process of this home foreclosure. Like,
I imagine Shaggy's uncle coming home and just seeing and like now having to. You can't throw that away. And it's just like you forever have this statue of your nephew and his dog.
So I'm also like imagining what Uncle Albert's going to think. Like, how much of my money did you spend on these fountains?
His uncle comes home, turns out he's broke now.
Right. So later on, we see Shaggy. He is on the phone with someone, assumably from the city. I guess he's just paying off the city government to get all these permits, because like the guy doesn't come out to the house to like make sure that everything is up to code or anything like that. Just their printer, like their fax machine, just starts printing off a shit ton of paper saying okay, and he's also telling Scooby at the same time that they're going to be inviting a few thousand of their closest friends. And I just wanted to note.
Oh, go ahead.
I think you're going to say the same thing I'm going to say, that Fred, Daphne, and Velma
weren't
on that list.
Part of the gang. I said, okay, a few thousand of your closest friends, but it doesn't include your actual best friends.
Right. Who we know are in this series. Yeah. They were in the first episode. And like, I know they're not regularly here, but like, you could have sent them an invite.
You honestly could have just drawn them into the background. They didn't need any speaking lines. You could have just had them in the background. And then as you're running away from the later robot, like, just have them be like, what?
Right.
You know?
Something I thought was funny was when Robi interprets housewarming as we need to warm the house. So he takes the solar panel and like activates it. He releases a pulse.
A month's worth of energy
in a single
burst.
Yeah, in a single burst of energy. It instantly sunburns Mr. H, who's busy, shoveling dirt out of his pool.
It sunburns his clothes too, which I found kind of funny.
This is when we learn that Scooby and Shaggy are currently under surveillance from Phineas Phibes, per usual. Agent 2, the dumb one, he's like watching them on all their cameras and stuff, and he hears about the party and immediately goes to Phibes being like, oh my god, can I go? And he's not having it. He's like, apparently he has a shock collar on Agent 2. So whenever he's acting up, he's going to shock him. Agent 2 is like, well, they also are in need of like a new robot. Like, could we do that? That could be our way in? And then he, ultimately just wants to go to the party. Phibes has Dr. Trebla bring out ART, which is a acronym for the Automated Robotic Tactical Unit. But Mr. Trebla is like, yeah, but sir, it's still in the testing phase, and also it frightens the men. And I'm just like, I'm glad that Dr. Trebla like is concerned about the well-being of the other agents.
I I want to note, though, like, does he only have men working for him, or does Art only scare the men and the women are fine?
We have not seen any female agents. I don't know
So
if he employs female agents.
Is this a sexist company?
It's not a company. He's a technology pirate.
He's got to pay these people somehow. Is it all under the table?
It must be. Maybe.
Because
he commits crimes, like, all the time.
I mean, like, in Phineas and Ferb, so does, what's that scientist's name?
I don't know. Don't bring him up if you don't know his name, Shannon.
Dinkelschmidt, or whatever his name is. He's got a company.
Yeah, I don't think Phibes has a company.
I imagine that they're, like, similar people. That's
right.
Whenever I see Phibes, that's who I think of. Is like Phineas and Ferb and Dr. Duschenschmidt. That's it. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I always think of, so.
Conveniently, Shaggy and Scooby are looking on the computer trying to find robotic butlers. And that's when Agent 2 calls and he's like, "Hi, this is Agent 2. Bill." And, he informs him about Art and he brings Art to the house. And it's funny, too, because right before this happens, before they actually meet Art, Robi comes in the room and he's just like, "Hi guys, I've been busy making some shoestring fries." And he's got like a vat of grease with boiling actual shoelaces in it.
I like Shaggy's response. It's just like, "Oh, he used actual shoestrings. Good thing I'm wearing thongs."
Right. But then tells him that what he needs to do is go lay low, stay cool, and out of sight. To which Robi responds to that as in going into a very faraway closet, laying down, covering himself in ice.
He buries himself
in ice so that he can both stay cool and out of sight.
That's the only smart thing I have seen him do, and it's still stupid.
It's still a stupid execution, but he is doing what he was asked.
But he did play cool out of sight.
He did a good job. So Art is introduced to them. Art also bumps into the door. Keep in mind, this robot is a huge, it's basically just a huge metal ball.
Yeah.
It's got 3 eyes, really short arms and legs, and the arms can, transform into, spinning blades and flamethrowers and stuff like that. It's great.
Lasers.
And lasers. There are also lasers. And we can see its eyesight sometimes where it's, zooming in on Shaggy and Scooby and being, target acquired and blah, blah, blah. And Bill's just like, "Yeah, it's a little temperamental, but, you'll be good." So Shaggy then also invites Bill, Agent 2, to stay for the party.
Because they're just so nice.
Yes, right. And then they also hear the doorbell. Now all the guests are arriving. Shaggy's like, "Oh my gosh, the whole neighborhood's in town." So they all, run inside.
They all throw their coats on Art.
Yes. To which Shaggy's like, "Okay, Art, go put the coats away." Art, tries to shoot a laser with all the coats on top of him. He falls and rolls into the backyard pool. This is one of many instances that this robot's going to end up in the pool, for the record. We also get a visit from Mr. H. And, he's just being super petty. He's like, "I just came over to see if, there's any other violations that I can kick you out for." Because apparently they only need one more to actually kick Shaggy and Scooby out of the house.
I mean, he did give him a lot this morning.
Yeah, but he also only gave him a day to do it.
I know.
So, I mean, yeah, Shaggy bribed the city to get the permits and everything like that, but also they've only gotten a day's notice. So I think they have a little bit of leeway ultimately. But Shaggy also assures him that the 613 is going to be dealt with too, because Robi's not anywhere near the party at the moment. He's off covered in a whole pile of ice. So something I wrote down was that Agent 2 basically acknowledges to Phibes over a speaker that this robot is not going to quit. Art has fallen into the pool probably 5 times.
Multiple times, yeah.
And he just keeps coming back, and he's just just ready to shoot lasers and shoot anything in sight.
I also did point out that when Phibes called, he goes, "This party is awesome, bro."
Yeah.
And I said, imagine calling your boss bro.
Especially Phibes.
Yeah. Not a fun boss.
No,
and you're just gonna call him bro.
He was very mad about his mocha latte getting ruined and spilled on him.
Yeah. Because it was a steaming hot cup.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
This was earlier, guys. I guess I kind of skipped over that. So at this point, Phibes puts the robot into full eradication mode. Shannon and I were both kind of wondering what that really meant, because we've already seen everything that the robot's capable of doing.
And it doesn't really do anything else.
I'm assuming it just kind of tells the robot, it was like, "Okay, you're at a 4, now I need you at an 11. So kill everything in sight, please."
Basically.
Shaggy and Scooby, as well as Mr. H, like, they're starting to run. I did know that right before they run from the robot, Mr. H was telling them that while their party is relentlessly in poor taste, it is up to code. I'm like,
what a dick.
What? Like, okay.
It's tacky, but, I mean, it's not against the law.
Wish we could say the same thing about you, Mr. H. Fuck you. So they're running away from the robot because now they've actually realized the robot's evil. Agent 2 is just like, it's indestructible, guys. Just run. If I don't see you again. This was a pretty awesome party. At one point, we noted that Mr. H is like hiding, pretending to be like a monkey statue.
Yeah, he's just such a small man.
We did kind of skip over the fact that he's a really, really short man.
They make
he's shorter than Robi.
They play a lot of jokes on it. Now, my thing is that because at one point when everybody runs into the party and the doorbell rings again and Scooby makes a comment of like, nobody's out there, and they open the door and they're like, maybe it was a ding dong ditch, and then they look down and that's where he is. Like, Mr. H is really at like Shaggy's hip, maybe.
Yeah.
But what got me was when he fell into the pool at the beginning of the episode, the pool was only like waist deep to him. I'm like, that's hella small.
Like 2 feet deep.
Yeah, I'm like, that's gotta be, and I realize it's in the shallow end, but that's gotta be like,
those are usually like 3 feet, I think.
Yeah,
right?
at least. That man is probably only 3 feet.
Yeah, in total.
Like just 3 feet, period.
Right. At one point, the three of them are like cornered in the living room. The wall blows up and they're worried it's Art, but it's actually Robi, who has come to inform them that he got an emergency message from Uncle Albert to tell them about how Mr. Phibes had like sent an evil robot to kill him.
Where is Uncle Albert's information coming from?
I don't know.
Because wherever it's coming from, it is very slow.
It's very slow. I mean, but it's accurate. It's accurate, but it's slow.
It's slow. It's always just a little bit too late to be helpful.
Yes. But it is accurate.
Yes.
You got to commend him for that.
Like,
he doesn't give bad information.
I have a feeling that he's spying on Phibes the way Phibes is spying on Scooby and Shaggy. Mm-hmm. But Uncle Albert is doing it like via messenger pigeon.
Okay.
And so it takes a little while for like the bird to get to him. And then he sends it to Robi.
Because he also has to be low-key about it. Because like, he's also a really like mad scientist.
Yeah.
Like he can't be using the obvious robots or cameras. Like it has to be a messenger pigeon.
Yeah. And then somehow he gets that to Robi, who then goes to try and help.
Uh-huh.
But at that point, like the information's null and void.
Well,
like,
we've also seen the gags of like when he does like a holographic communication through Robi to Shaggy and Scooby, and it always gets messed up. Like when I think Scooby poured popcorn into Robi, and like we've got Uncle Albert's image like being all distorted and weird because of the popping. I like the pigeon idea though. That's smart.
Yeah.
I like to believe that's what he's actually
doing.
Because
nobody's gonna think about a pigeon. Like even Phibes would be like, the fuck is that pigeon out there for?
Right.
It's just always fucking out there.
Well, I guess it doesn't work though for when he's in a submarine though.
I mean, you can surface, the pigeon can like drop off the note and then you can do your thing by then.
Okay. Maybe that's also what's delaying the whole process.
Yeah, because every time he has to surface, the bird has to like drop it. Like that's the thing. Yeah. It takes a while.
Something to think about. But when Robi does show up and give them this alert, Art shows up and he's like, about to destroy everything. And Robi's like, stand back, everybody. I've got this. So he goes up to Art and he's like, you will not stand any match against my arsenal of weaponry.
He has a cleaning jet of warm, sudsy water,
a feather duster,
and floss.
A dental floss dispenser.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Like he has it like right out of his chest and it just does a little squirt of the floss. I'm just like, yes. So Art, he pulls out the spinning blades and a flamethrower. The feather duster and the water is basically no match. And then when he goes to take the spinning blades against Robi, the floss like jams the spinner. So they're both just kind of like, okay. And Robi's like, haha, I've got you now.
And then Art just spins around and tosses Robi like a rag doll through the wall.
Meanwhile, Scooby, Shaggy, and Mr. H, they go through the bookshelf elevator to get down into the secret lab. Art, I think, just kind of destroys the elevator.
I think, okay, so what I got
comes downstairs.
He basically just ripped the bookcase off and then jumped down. Because the elevator was still down below.
Yeah. Well, he had to have just jumped down. He didn't come down the elevator. I mean, he's too big for that, too.
Yeah.
But Shaggy tells Mr. H that he trusts him, but not enough for what he's about to see. So he shrinks Mr. H down with the shrinking machine we saw in the first episode and puts him in his pocket. Meanwhile, he gives Scooby a superpowered Scooby snack that turns Scooby into a Scooby-Doo robot. And I love this so much. I wrote in all caps, Scooby turns into an awesome Scooby robot. Claw tail. Oh my god.
The thing that I like about the Scooby snacks is that they allow for change even after you take it.
Yes.
So, like, it turns him into the robot. And then he still gets his ass kicked.
Yeah, he's like, I think he's like on the floor with being pinned by Art.
Yeah, he's on the floor with his chest on the ground. And Art's just beating his back. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden the tail then evolves into a claw and just grabs and throws him.
Right.
And it's like, I like that the treats let alone make you a superpower or give you a superpower.
Yeah.
But then they also, like, evolve.
They have little surprises with them,
it's like,
too.
here, you know what? I realize I didn't do enough for you. Here's a little bit extra.
I'm pretty sure this isn't the last time we're going to see the Scooby-Doo robot either. I think it does appear in another episode.
Okay.
I don't remember where or when, but I'm pretty sure this is not going to be the last time we see it. But I think so far that actually is my favorite one, just because I love the design of the robot.
It was cool.
I think it looks super cool. Scooby takes the claw tail and just tosses Art over to the shrinking machine. He burps, which means, the Scooby powers are over. So the snack turns him back into regular Scooby.
He does look really scared because he's just like, oh shit, I'm not done fighting yet.
Right. But at this point, Shaggy realizes, oh shit, Art's on the shrinking machine. Yeah. So he shrinks him down as well. Accidentally puts him in the same pocket as Mr. H, but oops.
Little Art is actually really cute.
He has like the little squealy voice, like, like in a cartoon.
Like he's like, he does the whole like, I will kill you.
Yeah. So this is the part I think that I like the least of the episode. And I hate it so much. And I said it to Shannon every time we watched it. So Shaggy pulls out Mr. H and puts him back on the platform, brings him up to normal height, but then Scooby comes over with an idea. And he's like, how about you try this? So Shaggy then uses the shrinking machine to increase the size of only Mr. H's legs.
But the thing is he... I don't think does that on purpose. Like, he just turns the shrinking machine to make it big again, and the shrinking machine only affects his legs.
After that?
That's why I got confused, because it's not like the shrinking machine was targeted at his legs.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like only his legs were the one, were the part that like increased more in size when he clicked on the up, the shrinking up thing again. So... But it looks awful. He looks so disproportionate. The legs are too skinny for that body. He looks like they are about to break like toothpicks.
His comment is, I'm downright lanky.
No, you're not. You look awful. You need surgery.
He looks like he's like just a small man on stilts.
But he is like super overwhelmed with how happy he is now that he's not short.
And just falls.
Well, he falls on them, but like he's just telling them that, don't worry about the citations anymore. You guys are great.
You're gonna get one more citation, and it's for Neighbor of the Year. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, though.
Citation, yeah. I don't know. I also just don't like the idea of being this guy's neighbor, though.
No.
Because of how quick and petty he was to also, like, even once the house was up to code and everything, he was just straight up to their face like, while this party is just out of taste, like... I want to see you throw a party, Mr. H.
You don't have any friends, Mr. H.
With a name like Thurston. Havensimp. Yeah.
Tiny Art, like, cuts a hole in Shaggy's pocket and jumps out. And they're all like, oh, look at him.
He's no threat.
And he packs a hella flamethrower.
Yes.
And then that's when Robi reappears. And he pulls out a fly swatter. And he's like, no pests allowed. I must destroy you. And starts hitting him. It was really cute. That one I'll give him.
Yeah. And the episode pretty much ends with Scooby just doing the regular Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Fun episode. I really liked it.
Yeah.
So what did you award it on the Scooby Snackometer?
I gave it a 7.
Okay. Can I elaborate a little bit?
I really liked it. There were a lot of like good lines. And even like I said, like I'm not Robi's #1 fan. But he had a lot of funny lines in this.
I think it's also because the episode focused on Robi being part of the problem.
Yeah.
Because Robi is literally the one that's putting them at risk of losing their home.
Yeah.
Do you have any other thoughts?
I liked it.
Yeah. I also am giving it a 7. I think it's a fun episode for this series. Nothing too complex or anything like that. I kind of like how it was really just based at the house. They're not going on a wild adventure to Switzerland or anything like they've done in the past. It's kind of Like, I don't even think they show the Mystery Machine in this episode.
No.
So it was kind of like a nice at-home experience in their just everyday lives of being billionaires.
It was
while
nice.
also being terrorized by a technology pirate.
Well, and it's nice because right now we're not allowed to leave our homes. So it was a nice at-home
So
adventure.
it gives us the vibes of being at home in the Scooby-Doo universe. I also just think that the humor's, for the most part, pretty solid. Like you said, Robi has some great lines. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So your 7, my 7, we're going to award Party Arty a 7 out of 10 on the Scooby Snack-O-Meter. Before we finish our discussion on Party Arty, though, I predicted this pretty accurately last week where I said that they're going to mess up this guy's name.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to do it all episode.
Mm-hmm.
And they sure did in many ways. And I have a list of all of the different names that they incorrectly referred to Mr. Havensimp. I've got Mr. Half a Shrimp, Mr. Hanky Cramp, Mr. Hack Attack, Mr. Hamper Stink, Mr. Hairy Slacks, Mr. Hassle Skunk, Mr. Handkerchief, Mr. Handle Sprout, and Mr. Happy Snot. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on what your favorite of those names was. That was our episode review of Party Arty. Do you want to hear a fun fact real quick?
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about Blue Falcon. So Blue Falcon and Dynomutt, they are regular characters from the Hanna-Barbera universe that have crossed over with Scooby-Doo many times. The very first time that we ever saw them cross over was in the Scooby-Doo show. I think it was actually like a Blue Falcon episode, not a Scooby-Doo one, where the Scooby Gang is also involved. Mm-hmm. We do see them appear in the Laugh Olympics series as part of their team. And then they also appear as characters in one of the episodes of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. I just kind of wanted to talk about like the 2 more recent appearances of theirs in the Scooby-Doo universe because they're both interesting. One of them being the new Scooby-Doo movie, the Scoob movie. Mm-hmm. Something that I thought was interesting with this one was that this isn't the normal Blue Falcon that they have teamed up with in the past, but it's actually his son. Not a lot of people realize that in the marketing and stuff, but it's actually the original Blue Falcon's son who's taken up the mantle. But then we get The Mask of the Blue Falcon, a direct-to-video Scooby-Doo movie, where the Blue Falcon's not even a real superhero in their world, but rather like a movie/comic book character.
And they just like meet the celebrity?
Yeah, like they're not, like they're fans of the story, but he's not like a real person. Him and Dynomutt aren't real people. Which I thought was weird in Shift because every other appearance of Blue Falcon and Dynomutt have been them actually being real superheroes.
Yeah, that's weird because why would you take somebody and be like, yeah, he's real. Oh, just kidding.
Right.
He's not.
I just wanted to talk real quick about just the fact that they've appeared in 5 different instances of the Scooby-Doo franchise in all in different capacities, which has been pretty fun, especially considering we talk about like the Hex Girls having a really regular appearance in their world and stuff like that. So
I mean, they're even in the new books.
Yes, and I just think that it's funny that Blue Falcon doesn't really get all that much of a Scooby-Doo relation. Mm-hmm. Like, people don't often even think about Blue Falcon just because he's not a mainstream Scooby-Doo character. But he has appeared around since the 70s, so he's got some history with the gang, is my point. Moving on to next week, we will be watching an episode from Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. Because we watch this show chronologically, we will be watching the 4th episode. Shannon, what is the title of next week's episode?
Next week, we will be watching Revenge of the Man Crab.
All right, here is a premise for the episode coming from Scoobypedia. A man crab attacks Crystal Cove's beach during a volleyball tournament, taking the female players. Short, sweet, to the point.
I wonder what this is if it's gonna have any like over arc on the actual story, or if it's just gonna be like a standalone episode.
I don't remember. I think it does have something to do with the mystery, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Just some quick Scooby-Doo news before we wrap up here. I wanted to remind everybody that this upcoming week, the Scoob movie will be coming out on DVD, Blu-ray, all of that jazz. It'll be released on July 21st. I believe that's a Tuesday. Mm-hmm. We wanted to remind everybody about the new Daphne and Velma Dark Deception book that came out 2 weeks ago. Really good read. I've already read it. Shannon's in the process of reading it. Definitely go and pick up your copy on Amazon. It's only $10. The Scooby-Doo run has now started accepting registration, so if you want to participate in this virtual run, which you can do just, at your own home, neighborhood, community with your friends, your family, your dog.
And me and Derek are doing it.
Yes, we are doing it, so definitely look into that. The registration is being done at www.scoobydoorun.com. Lastly, to something that's kind of been a buzz on social media that we kind of wanted to address just for the fun of it. Tony Cervone, who is the producer for Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, he made a post about 2 weeks ago regarding Velma and her relationship with Marcy from Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. Basically just kind of up and saying, like, his version of Velma in the Mystery Incorporated storyline is a lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm all about it.
I'm all for it.
I was always kind of under the impression that was the case anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool to see this news coming from an actual person who, like, produced Scooby-Doo. It's not just some writer or somebody. Like, it's actually the person behind all of it.
It's someone who can actually make it canon.
Right. And someone else, I think it was James Gunn, commented about how he tried to make Velma a lesbian character, like in the live-action Scooby-Doo movies from 2002, 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Different time period back then, all that. But I don't think that those movies would have had, like, a respectable portrayal of her as a lesbian. I think it would have been more so a gag. So I'm honestly kind of fine not having had that back then. I like that this version of Velma was a lot more subtle. The fans were able to pick up on it without anybody ever actually telling them that. And now we just have this reaffirmation from Tony about it. So it's cool to see.
If you looked at the clues, it was there. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's why he even wrote there too. But something to even point out too is that this is just his version of Velma.
Yeah, like, not all of them.
Other versions of Velma are clearly straight. I know that the one that is in the new books is straight.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see her in that portrayal somewhere.
Yes.
So if you guys want to reach out to us to talk about Party Arty, Revenge of the Man Crab, any of the news we just talked to you guys about, or anything else Scooby-Doo related for that matter, you can find us online. We are on Facebook at That Groovy Scoobcast, Twitter at Groovy Scoobcast, or Tumblr at That Groovy Scoobcast.
You can also shoot us an email at thatgroovyscoopcast@gmail.com or check out our website, www.thatgroovyscoopcast.com.
And with that, we hope that you enjoyed That Groovy Scoopcast.
Come back next week for a Scooby snack-filled time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.